I call to order the Gladstone City Council special meeting for June 22nd, 2021. It's 6:30 p.m. Per the Governor's Executive Order 20-16 regarding compliance with Oregon's public meeting laws, the City of Gladstone is abiding by social distancing requirements during the coronavirus pandemic. The City Council meeting will be conducted virtually using the Zoom platform. The Zoom access instructions can be found on the meeting agenda. Members of the City Council, staff, and the public all have access to this call. Since this is a special meeting, we do not follow the same format as a regular meeting in that we do not have business from the audience or audience participation on agenda items. However, I was just told that item number 2 is going to be a public hearing. Our amended regular meeting agenda includes Resolution 1195, a resolution declaring the city's election to receive state revenue sharing. Resolution 1196, a resolution certifying provision of 4 or more services for state shared revenues for biennium 2021 to 2023. Resolution 1197, a resolution adopting the 2021 to 2023 biennium budget, categorizing the taxes and setting the tax rate. Item number 1, which was the discussion and possible action related to the removal of a public officer, has been removed from this agenda at the request of the public officer in question and upon advisement from our city attorney. This will be added to our July 13th regular scheduled City Council meeting. We will then adjourn to the Urban Renewal Agency meeting, which will be approval of the January 12th, 2021 meeting minutes, and Resolution UR70, which is a resolution adopting the Urban Renewal Agency budget for the 2021-2023 biennium. We will then reconvene to the special meeting to adjourn. Tammy, could you please call the roll?
Councillor Ripley.
Yes.
Councillor Alexander.
Yes.
Councillor Tracy.
Present.
Councillor Hartman.
Here.
Councillor Todd.
Here.
Councillor Garlington.
Here.
Mayor Stemple.
Here, could everyone stand for the flag salute, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. A couple of things before we start, as I do before every meeting, I'd like to say a few words regarding the City Council. The most important limitation we have sitting here is that we are representing the citizens of Gladstone, not our own personal agendas and beliefs. There have been many times when a decision being made doesn't align with what we would like personally, but have made a decision based on what is best for the city as a whole. That does not mean our personal beliefs have changed, just the city's needs were more important. As we discuss and consider matters, there are laws and rules we have to use as the basis of our decisions. These start at the federal state level, then filter down to our city's comprehensive plan, city charter, codes, and ordinances. We do not have the luxury of randomly making decisions, but instead have to be consistent and take a path that is defensible. Attendees, we will have your phones muted, and if for some reason we're not able to do that, could you please do it on your end? So first is item number 1, Resolution 1195, a resolution declaring the city's election to receive state revenue sharing. Staff.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Tonight, we're going to present to you our balanced budget for 2021-23. On May 3rd of this year, the City of Gladstone Budget Committee met to consider the balanced budget in the amount of $56,063,917. This amount includes $2.5 million for American Rescue Funds the city anticipates to receive later in the year. The proposed 2021-23 budget included the budget message, financial analysis, and department presentations such as the general fund, which includes administration, info technology, facilities, municipal court, the police, fire, parks and rec, senior center, and the library. It included public works, which includes roads, sewer, water, and storm. and other funds such as the police levy, the fire levy, civic buildings, municipal court fund, and our closed funds. Additional information was presented regarding the operating transfers in and out, a summary of the full-time employees, the city's debt schedule, and financial policies. The Budget Committee unanimously recommended that the City Council approve the budget, and the next step is for the City Council to approve a series of resolutions in methodical order. Before I hand it over to the city's finance consultant, Kathy Brucker, we would like to publicly acknowledge the citizen members of the committee. This was in addition to the City Council: Neil Reisner, Sierra Cook, Michael Milch, Riley Hartman, Christy Haller-Shafee, and Tanya Neff. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Kathy to walk you through the first resolution.
Good evening, and thank you so much. This first resolution is 1195, and this is declaring the city's election to receive state revenue sharing. We will be receiving about $260,000 estimate for the 21-23 biennium, and these funds are used for the support of the general fund activities. State budget law is what requires us to hold a public hearing on this. We held one at the budget meeting on May 3rd of 2021, and then this is the second one that we are holding. And basically, that's about all there is to say about this. It is general use monies from the state, which once we satisfy the requirements are available for our use.
All right, thank you. And as Kathy mentioned, this is a public hearing. So if there's anyone that wishes to speak, please notify Tammy Bannock and we'll let you in. I'll go counselor to counselor to ask if you have any questions or concerns, starting with Counselor Garlington.
No questions, no concerns.
Counselor Todd.
No questions, thank you.
Counselor Hartman.
No questions, thank you.
Counselor Alexander.
Oh, just to clarify, so there's a list of things we have to do to qualify. And then they say, okay, we qualify, we get the money. And then there's a list of things they tell us we can spend it on. Is that how that works?
No, actually, that is the next resolution with the
Okay,
state shared revenues. Yes, this one is a little more generalized and centralized on a certain portion of the state revenues that they'll disperse.
Okay, thank you.
So no other questions or concerns? Counselor Alexander.
No, I same question for the next one.
Counselor Ripley.
I don't have any questions.
Counselor Tracy.
No questions, thank you.
Tammy, is there anyone that wishes to speak?
I do not see any hands up, so no.
All right, any further discussion? I don't see any hands. Tammy, could you do a roll call vote, please?
Have we had a motion?
Actually, hold on a second. We need a motion. I'm sorry about that. I'm 2 steps ahead here. The motion is found at the bottom of 2-1. If somebody would like to make the motion, please.
I move to approve Resolution 1195 for the City of Gladstone to continue to receive state revenue sharing in the 2021-2023 biennium budget.
Do I have
I'll
a second?
second.
Motion was made by Counselor Garlington and seconded by Counselor Hartman. Do we have any further discussion? Tammy, could you do a roll call vote, please?
Counselor Garlington,
Yes.
Counselor Todd,
Yes.
Counselor Hartman,
Aye.
Counselor Tracy,
Aye.
Counselor Alexander,
Yes.
Counselor Ripley,
Yes.
Mayor Stemple.
Yes, resolution 1195, a resolution declaring the city's election to receive state revenue sharing has passed. Next item is resolution 1196, a resolution certifying provision of 4 or more services for state shared revenues for biennium 2021-2023. Staff.
Yes, So this is the resolution that you were referring to earlier that does allow the city to elect receipt of state shared revenue funds by certifying provision of 4 or more of the mandatory municipal services in the 2023 biennium. The services that we provide are police, fire, streets and roads, maintenance and construction, sewer, storm maintenance and construction, and then planning services also, which of course we contract through the county. By providing these services, it makes us eligible to receive in these state shared revenues, which include another portion of the liquor tax, the cigarette taxes, and then the highway taxes. So for this, we anticipate receiving in the general fund over the biennium $469,000, and in the roads and street funds, just over 1.8 million. If we do not adopt this resolution, we won't get the money. Needless to say, it's a significant impact to our budget. So this is why we do go through this certification process. And again, are there any questions about this?
I'll start with Counselor Garlington.
Just one very small one that popped into my head. Where's the marijuana tax at? I mean, people talk about that being so much money and
That's again, a very good question. It was starting to amount to some monies. The state is now, of course, cutting back on the amount that the local governments will be receiving. So we've yet to see what that effect will all be. However, the marijuana tax is not included in this certification process because there's a great variety of differences as far as from city to city as to who is receiving marijuana tax money and who is not. It depends on whether it be recreational or medicinal and if there are any distributors within your city limits. So that's why it's not included in this one here. It is certified separately. We don't have to take it to council. It's certified annually internally.
thank you for the clarification.
Yes.
And to clarify, we are collecting
Yes.
revenue from the marijuana tax. It's just not part of this certification.
That is correct. In the budget, you will see it as a separate line item. You'll see also too that our budget last biennium was just under 100,000. This year, the state is forecasting, we do get these forecasts from the state, only 55,000 for this upcoming biennium.
All right, thank you. Counselor Todd.
Sorry about that. No questions. Thank you.
Counselor Hartman.
No questions, thank you.
Counselor Alexander.
I have none, thanks.
Counselor Ripley.
I don't have any questions.
Counselor Tracy.
No questions, thank
So I have a question. So the state can just randomly decide to change the allocations for marijuana and we don't really have any say in that? Or is it done at the legislative level and we should be paying attention?
It was done at the legislative level. I've seen a lot of information come through from the League of Cities on it. But I cannot really, I have not dug into it too deeply.
Okay,
As far
thank
as, where it originated from or anything like that, but it was legislative.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, any other questions? Would somebody like to make a motion? It's on the bottom of 3-1.
I'd make a motion. I move to approve resolution 1196 for the city of Gladstone to continue to provide 4 or more municipal services listed in section 1 ORS 221.760.
Second,
Motion was made by Counselor Hartman, seconded by Counselor Garlington. Do we have any further discussion? I don't see any hands. Tammy, could you do a roll call vote, please?
Counselor Hartman. Sorry, we'll come back to you.
Excuse me, no. Aye.
Counselor Todd.
Aye.
Counselor Garlington.
yes.
Counselor Ripley.
Yes.
Counselor Alexander.
Yes.
Counselor Tracy.
Aye.
Mayor Stemple,
Yes. Resolution 1196, a resolution certifying provision of 4 or more services for state shared revenues for biennium 2021-2023 has passed. Next item is Resolution 1197, a resolution adopting the 2021 to 2023 biennium budget, categorizing the taxes and setting the tax rate. Staff.
Well, this is the big one, needless to say, and this is the final step in the whole budget process, in the biennium budget process, which ends June 30th, 2021 of this year. Beginning July 1, 21, the city will be working once again from a biennial budget that the Budget Committee has recommended at the attached budget and tax rate. Overall funds, as Jackie had mentioned, is $56,063,917. In order to keep the city in compliance with not only our accepted accounting principles or GAAP, our accounting standard boards, and then most importantly, Oregon revised statutes on the local budget laws. This budget must be adopted prior to June 30th of 2021. If it was not adopted, our authority to spend money or incur any obligations would expire. And needless to say, it's not something that we would even want to entertain doing. And this also allows us to impose the property tax that is contingent upon following the current budget process. Are there any questions about this?
Counselor Garlington.
I have no questions. Thank you.
Counselor Todd.
No questions. Thank you.
Counselor Hartman.
No questions. Thank you.
Counselor Alexander.
None.
Counselor Ripley.
No questions.
Counselor Tracy.
No questions, but a comment. I want to tell staff how much I really appreciate such a clear and concise budget. Going through the documentation is very easy. If you're trying to track things down, you have all laid it out very well. So I like a budget that even our citizens read and understand. So thank you very much for doing
Thank you.
Thank you. So this is going to be 3 separate motions. So we're going to have to vote on these individually. The first is adoption of the budget. And the motion is on page 4-2. It's the first one. So if somebody could make a motion, please.
I'll make a, oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Greg, or go ahead, Counselor Alexander.
I move to adopt resolution 1197, adopting the 2021 through 2023 biennium budget in the sum of $56,063 or $56,063,917.
I'll second.
second.
All right. Motion was made by Counselor Alexander and seconded by Counselor Hartman. Do we have any further discussion? Tammy, could you do a roll call vote? Oh, sorry, Counselor Ripley.
I'm wondering how, when we're elected by the people, by the voters, and we have to answer to the voters, yet we're going to adopt a budget when the last 2 years, 5 months, we've never had one discussion about the fire department, about the increase in the costs, the loss of all the people, selling off the equipment, renting another building, saying that it's not sustainable, yet continuing to go that direction. How can we, as city council members, vote yes to approve a budget when we had no discussion? We're not accountable to the city staff. We're accountable to the taxpayers, whether they're voters or not. So before we even do a vote, I'll tell you right now, until we actually have a discussion, my vote will be no on the budget.
All right,
That's all I got to say. Because we have to be able to represent the community, and this is not representing the community one bit.
All right, thank you. Tammy, could you do a roll call vote, please?
Counselor Alexander,
Yes.
Counselor Tracy,
yes to the budget.
Counselor Hartman,
Aye.
Counselor Todd,
Yes.
Counselor Garlington,
Yes.
Counselor Ripley,
No.
Mayor Stemple.
I abstain from this vote because my husband's on the fire department and it would be a conflict. So it is 5 yeas, 1 no, and 1 abstention. So the budget has been adopted. Next is imposing the tax. Any questions or concerns on that one? Counselor Garlington,
I have no questions.
Counselor Todd,
Can you tell me what page that is on? My packet completely fell to the ground and came undone. So
4-2.
4-2. Okay. Okay. No questions. Thank you. I'm just, it's a jumble. So
I understand. I got papers all over the place. Counselor
Okay.
Hartman,
No questions, thank you.
Counselor Alexander,
None. Thanks.
Counselor Ripley,
No questions.
Counselor Tracy,
No questions. Thank you.
all right, and I have none. Would someone make a motion, please? It's number 2 on page 4-2. It's a long one, I'm sorry.
I'll give it a go.
Thank you.
Imposing the tax. I move to adopt resolution 1197 for both tax years 2021, 2022, and 2022 through 2023, imposing the tax at a rate of 4.8174 per 1,000 of assessed value for the permanent tax rate, and at the rate of 0.68 cents per 1,000 for the police communications local option tax, and 0.31 cents per 1,000 for the fire and emergency medical local option tax.
Do I have a second?
I'll
I'll
second.
second.
Counselor Todd, I'm putting you down.
Okay.
All right, motion was made by Counselor Garlington, seconded by Counselor Todd. Do we have any further discussion? I don't see any hands. Tammy, could you do a roll call vote, please?
Counselor Todd,
Yes.
Counselor Hartman,
Aye.
Counselor Tracy,
Yes.
Counselor Alexander,
Yes.
Counselor Ripley,
Yes.
Counselor Garlington,
Yes.
Mayor Stemple.
Yes, so item number 2, imposing the tax, has passed. The third item is categorizing the tax. Staff, any questions, comments?
Unless there are any questions, basically, of course, these are just the steps we have to go through to satisfy what is laid out in local budget law. The taxes are being categorized. Of course, our general fund one is the base rate that we receive on assessed value, police and communications at 0.68, and the fire and emergency medical at 0.31 are due to the local option levies.
All right, questions or concerns, Counselor Garlington?
No questions, no concerns.
Counselor Todd?
No, thank you.
Counselor Hartman?
None for me, thank you.
Counselor Alexander?
None at all.
Counselor Ripley?
Nope.
Counselor Tracy?
Yeah, actually, I would like, if it's possible, for Consultant Brucker to give us a little bit of an explanation about how the levies fit into this, to both the police and fire levy, and an explanation about how, short explanation about how we're setting the rate.
The base rate was what was set back off of after the Measure 5 and 50 referendums passed within the state. As far as how those rates were set, it depended upon the budget at the time and the debt of the entity at the time. How they came up with the 4.8174, as I say, that was assessed or arrived at by the state. Really, that's about the extent of my knowledge. That was many years ago before I had even come to Oregon.
No, thank you. I'm sorry. I wasn't clear. I'm talking about the police levy and the fire levy and the rates that you have in this. And what we just
Yes.
talked about in imposing the tax, Kathy,
Yes.
that's what I'm trying to,
Yeah.
just so that we have our citizens understanding, we're not double loading the levy.
Oh, no,
rate.
not at
Okay.
all. It's totally
you.
separate. The 4.8174 just supports the general fund of the city. The 0.68 and the 0.31, of course, were from the levy elections that happen every 5 years. This was from 2018, I believe, and will stay in place for through 2023. And
It's the imposing of the tax and not the changing of the rate. That's what I'm trying to get to
Exactly.
for our citizens. Okay, thank
yes,
you.
there is no changing of the rate
Right.
whatsoever.
I just want us to be very clear.
Yes, absolutely.
And you said this goes through 2023, the levies.
Let me double check on that really quickly. We've got it back in here. It is until 2024. It was in 2018 that it was approved, and it would start the following fiscal year, and it goes through 2024.
Okay.
There is more information back on both of these in the verbiage of the budget itself.
All right, any more questions or concerns? Would someone make a motion, please? It's number 3, categorizing the tax, page 4-2.
Quick question, should it be 2022-2023 instead of 2021-2022?
No, we have to adopt it for each individual fiscal year.
Okay,
So that's why 21, 22, 22, 23.
But
Yeah.
that's
no,
I know.
I see what you're
It's supposed to
saying.
be 23. Yeah.
22, 23 on the second set.
yes,
Yes.
okay.
Yep.
I'll make the motion then. I move to adopt resolution 1197 for both tax years 2021, 2022 and 2022, 2023, categorizing the imposed taxes as follows. General fund, $4.8174 per 1,000, excluded from limitation equals 0. Police communications fund, 0.68 cents per 1,000, excluded from limitation equals 0. Fire and emergency medical fund, 31 cents per 1,000, excluded from limitation equals 0.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Motion was made by Counselor Hartman and seconded by Counselor Alexander. Do we have any further discussion? I don't see any hands. Tammy, could you do a roll call vote, please?
Counselor Tracy,
Aye.
Counselor Alexander,
Yes.
Counselor Ripley,
Yes.
Counselor Hartman,
Aye.
Counselor Todd,
Yes.
Counselor Garlington,
Yes.
Mayor Stemple.
Yes, item number 3, categorizing the tax has passed. So that finishes our regular budget meeting. I would entertain a motion to adjourn to the Urban Renewal Agency meeting.
Can I ask you
Yes.
something real quick? I
Yes.
just make a small comment. I believe as a group, I shouldn't speak for everyone. I myself, I am happy to go into a discussion about the fire department. I would love to get this, to get everybody on the same page, understand what's being spent, where we're at as a community, how the fire department is working. And Counselor Ripley put the packet together and yes, let's have a discussion because
Well,
there's nothing worse than not feeling like you're being heard. But if you bring something forward to discuss that's tangible, I'm willing to read it, do some homework on it, and let's talk about it. Yes.
well, it's a little too late now. We just approved a budget for another 2 years. So we do need to have the discussion, but we need to have the discussion about everything in the city. This is the most dysfunctional group of counselors. We don't talk. We should be talking about what we expect out of our public works. what
We
expect
don't,
out of our
I
parks.
would really
what we
prefer that
expect
nobody
out-
said we.
Okay.
Don't, thank you. I
Anyway,
am willing to have
I
the
do think we need to
conversation.
have those meetings. But when we vote on a budget that is, that we can't answer the public on now, if somebody comes and asks you a question, you have to shrug your shoulders and say, I don't know. That was a bad move for all the counselors, I believe.
And I don't
But
feel
anyway,
like
yes.
that.
We've
We
been
do need to have
talking
a
about the
discussion.
budget. We've been talking about the budget for 3 months now.
Mhm.
Yes, and
But-
what happens every time we try and talk about the fire department?
I agree with you. I agree that
It
there's
gets shut down.
discussions that gets shut down for sure, but
I've been trying to
You
have
can
that
call a
discussion
special
for
meeting.
2.5 years. So
All right.
anyway, yes, or if you ever want to ask me, Mindy, one-on-one, I'd be more than happy to share with any of you more of the truths, because I think most people didn't hear the truths about anything. They heard the version that people wanted them to hear. But anyway, this isn't time or place. for this
No,
discussion.
I'm just, you had brought up the
But,
fact that you
yes,
didn't want
we
to
do
approve
need
the
to.
budget.
But we keep
Correct.
making a comment that we're kicking a can down the road. Well, we just kicked it down the road for 2 more years. If we're gonna answer to our taxpayers, we got to do a better job than we're doing, you guys. We can't answer to anybody right now on any department because we
I
don't know what any of
can.
the departments are
I
doing.
can.
You
All
can't?
right.
Yes, I can. Yes, as a matter of fact, I can.
And the budget's
Answer on what?
written very well. It's very clear and very detailed. So, and that's available to anybody online that wants to see it. And I'm sure Kathy is there to answer questions if anybody has concerns.
How many people are on budget committee? Does
I'm not
anybody know?
14.
There's 14 people on budget
There
committee,
would be because there's 7 people on the budget committee and 7 counselors.
7 counselors.
We had 6
Um,
citizens, so it was 13.
Okay,
And
there were 2 of them that didn't participate, correct?
That's correct, but they're still on the budget committee.
All right, can we move on to the Urban Renewal Agency meeting? I would entertain a motion to adjourn from our regular meeting and go into the Urban Renewal Agency. Would
So
someone
moved.
make a motion? Do I have a second?
second,
Motion was made by Counselor Alexander, seconded by Counselor Garlington. Any further discussion or their questions? Tammy, could you do a roll call vote, please?
Counselor Todd,
yes.
Counselor Hartman,
Aye.
Counselor Tracy,
Yeah, yes.
Counselor Alexander,
Yes.
Counselor Ripley,
Yes.
Counselor Garlington,
yes.
Mayor Stemple.
Yes, so we are now in the Urban Renewal Agency meeting. Item number 4 is approval of the January 12th, 2021 meeting minutes. Do we have anything from staff on that one?
And nothing further, thank you.
All right, any questions or concerns, Counselor Garlington?
None for me, thank you.
Counselor Todd?
No.
Counselor Hartman?
No questions. Thank you.
Counselor Alexander?
None, thank you.
Counselor Ripley?
No questions.
Counselor Tracy?
No questions. Thank you.
And I have none. Would someone make a motion, please? It's on page 6-1 at the bottom. Hold on a second. Yes. Nope.
Oh.
That's just getting there. I'm sorry, I've got so many papers here. Okay, so please do a roll call vote, please. Tammy Bannick. Did we do that already?
We need a motion to approve the minutes.
Someone make a motion to approve the minutes, please.
I make a
I make a
motion
mo,
to.
go ahead.
I make a motion to approve the meeting minutes of January 12th, 2021.
Second,
All right, motion was made by Counselor Hartman, seconded by Counselor Garlington to approve the January 12th, 2021 meeting minutes. Any further discussion? Tammy, could you do a roll call vote, please?
Counselor Ripley,
Yes.
Counselor Alexander,
Yes.
Counselor Tracy,
Aye.
Counselor Hartman,
Aye.
Counselor Todd,
Yes.
Counselor Garlington,
yes.
Mayor Stemple.
Yes, I'm sorry. I just realized that the next item is actually two two items, so I kept jumping to that one. All right, the meeting minutes have been approved. Item number 5 is resolution UR70, a resolution adopting the Urban Renewal Agency budget for the 2021-2023 biennium. And this is in 2 increments. 1 is adopting the budget and 2 is declaring the tax increment. Staff.
Thank you very much. Very similar to what we have to do with the city. We must go through the state law requirements and adopt a budget prior to the end of the fiscal or biennial year, which for us ends June 30th, 2021. The overall budget for the Urban Renewal Agency is $4,370,839. The tax increment remains unchanged. It is calculated by the Clackamas County based on the maximum amount of revenue that may be raised by dividing the taxes under Section 1C, Article 11 of the Oregon Constitution, and $0 as the amount to be raised through the imposition of a special levy. This will keep the Urban Renewal District in compliance with local budget law. And again, as I say, must be adopted prior to June 30th of 2021. Other than that, it is a 2-motion resolution here as far as for the total budget and then declaring the tax increment. So are there any questions about that?
So the first is adopting the budget. Counselor Garlington, questions or concerns?
Neither, thank you.
Counselor Todd?
No.
Counselor Hartman?
No questions, thank you.
Counselor Alexander?
I have none.
Counselor Ripley?
Nope.
Counselor Tracy?
No questions, thanks.
And I have no questions. So would somebody make a motion? The budget option motion is on the bottom of page 6-1.
I move to adopt resolution UR70, adopting the 2021 through 2023 biennium budget in the sum of $4,370,839.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion was made by Counselor Alexander and seconded by Counselor Todd. Do we have any further discussion? I don't see any hands. Tammy, could you do a roll call vote, please?
Counselor Alexander,
Yes.
Counselor Ripley.
Yeah.
Counselor Tracy,
Yes.
Counselor Hartman,
Sorry about that. Aye.
Counselor Todd,
Yes.
Counselor Garlington,
Yes,
Mayor Stemple.
Yes, so resolution number UR70, adopting the budget, has passed. The second piece of that is declaring the tax increment. Staff?
Basically, as I was saying, this is the method of tax calculation for the Urban Renewal Agency based upon the frozen value that was assigned at the time when the agency was formed, and then excess funds over and above that are used for the calculation for the maximum amount of revenue. This is a much reduced budget from the previous year due to the fact that the Civic Center project was completed. So we are basically down to paying our debt service back plus the transfers to the general fund for the debt service there. Any other questions on that?
Counselor Garlington, questions or concerns?
none, thank you.
Counselor Todd?
No, thank you.
Counselor Hartman?
No questions, thank you.
Counselor Alexander?
No, thanks.
Counselor Ripley?
No questions.
Counselor Tracy?
No questions, thank you.
And I have no questions. So would somebody make a motion for declaring the tax increment? It is at the top of page 6-2. It's a long one. Come on, somebody's got to read it.
All right, Mayor, I'll move that we adopt UR70, declaring the tax increment to remain unchanged for both tax years 2021 through 2022, and 2022 through 2023. The Urban Renewal Agency of the Gladstone Urban Renewal District hereby resolves to request the maximum amount of revenue that may be raised by dividing the taxes under Section 1C, Article 11 of the Oregon Constitution, and $0 as the amount to be raised through the imposition of a special levy.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second,
Motion was made by Counselor Tracy and seconded by Counselor Garlington. Do we have any further discussion? I don't see any hands. Tammy, could you do a roll call vote, please?
Counselor Ripley,
Yes.
Counselor Tracy.
Aye.
Counselor Todd,
Yes.
Counselor Alexander,
Yes.
Counselor Hartman,
Aye.
Counselor Garlington,
yes.
Mayor Stemple.
Yes. Resolution number UR 70, item number 2, declaring the tax increment has passed. So next item is to adjourn from the Urban Renewal Agency meeting and reconvene to our special meeting. Would somebody make a motion, please?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion was made by Counselor Garlington and seconded by Counselor Todd. Do we have any discussion or questions on this one? I don't see any hands. Tammy, could you do a roll call vote, please?
Counselor Alexander,
Yes.
Counselor Ripley,
Yes.
Counselor Garlington,
Yes.
Counselor Todd,
Yes.
Counselor Hartman,
Aye.
Counselor Tracy.
Aye.
Mayor Stemple.
Yes, so we are back and to our special meeting. The only thing that we have is business carried forward. City Administrator Betts, do we have anything?
I have nothing tonight. Thank you.
All right, and then as a reminder, we have a City Council regular meeting, July 13th at 6:30 p.m. Would someone like to adjourn the meeting, please?
I would like to take the moment to raise a point of order.
All right,
I would like to ask that there is an opportunity to add business from the council.
and what would that business be?
The business is to answer our citizens in regards to why agenda item number 1 was removed from this agenda item or from today's meeting.
I stated that at the beginning of the meeting, that it was at the advisement of the attorney. Is there additional information that we need?
I believe that our citizens deserve to understand the details as to why we have, or some of us have decided to move this and extended this from today to July 13th.
Well, again, it was the advisement from our city attorney, and that seems to be the smart way to go. And I don't think that we can go into any further detail on what his advice was. City Administrator Betts, was that a confidential email from our city attorney?
I think the first decision, Mayor, is whether or not you want to allow this to be discussed on the agenda, and then I can answer that question if that's where we're headed with this.
I suppose if a majority wants to do that, but like I said, I think we have to be really careful on what we talk about. Tammy, could you do a roll call vote, please?
Counselor Ripley.
What?
To
Point of
there's a
clarification, what are we voting for?
We're
Thank
voting
you.
to add this to the agenda and discuss it.
I think we should be adding business from the council. I mean, I can clarify what I mean. I really just want to provide facts to the citizens that have expressed immense interest in this topic as to why we are extending this again. We can give factual information and not go into detail, but they deserve to be answered because as of right now, we have been silent. And they, as you all have seen and been copied on, people are asking for answers and we haven't given them any. So we should give them a reason as to why we're continuing to kick the can down the road. And I would like us to provide our citizens as to why we are not discussing this today as previously talked about and moving it to July 13th. So I guess the vote is to, I'd like to make a motion to discuss this publicly and give the facts as to why we have decided to move this to July 13th.
All right, so there's the motion. Do I have a second?
Yes, I second it.
Motion was made by Counselor Hartman and seconded by Counselor Todd to discuss the moving of item number 1 to the July 13th council meeting. Any further questions, concerns on this one? Counselor Ripley.
The original conversation took place in executive session. So why are we continuing this conversation outside executive session? I think the decision's been made and we need to listen to our attorney.
Well, can
Counselor-
we just, can we do a vote and then we'll either discuss it or not discuss it? Tammy Bennett, could you do a roll call vote, please?
Counselor Ripley,
Wait, remind me what we're voting for.
To have this discussion in open session now.
No.
Counselor Alexander,
You're muted.
Yeah, no.
Counselor Garlington,
No.
Counselor Todd,
Yes.
Counselor Hartman,
Yes.
Counselor Tracy,
Aye.
Mayor Stemple.
No. So it has not passed. Thank you. But again, we will be bringing it up at the July 13th council meeting. Could somebody please make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Can't do it fast enough. I make motion that we adjourn the meeting.
Do I have a second?
I'll
Second.
second.
Motion was made by Counselor Tracy and seconded in tandem by Counselor Hartman and Counselor Alexander. Any further discussion? Tammy, could you do a roll call vote, please?
Counselor Hartman,
Aye.
Counselor Todd,
Yes.
Counselor Garlington,
Yes.
Counselor Ripley,
Yes.
Counselor Alexander,
Yes.
Counselor Tracy,
Very transparent, yes.
Mayor Stemple.
Yes. Meeting was adjourned at 7:17 PM. Thank you.